Hello, welcome to another Brody Moore podcast. Maybe we'll call it the Leaf Lounge. That's the Discord name, which you should be in. The link is down below, whether you're watching on Spotify or on YouTube. It's down there. Click it, get in there, join the discussion throughout the week when there isn't an episode. But let's not do this long spiel like we always do. Let's get right into the guest, because this was the guest that helped me kick this all off. You know who it is. Adam Thornton, a.k.a. Lawler. Hey, I missed you. How you doing?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Doing all right. You know, we're just cruising through the world of esports right now, whatever that is. you got the face too. You know it. It's obviously I think everybody from every aspect of the industry right now is feeling what's going on. Where are we gonna land after this happens to the whole thing?
I mean, do you want like actual business answer, or do you want like, it depends on how you want it, because I can give you like an actual answer for it based on projections and all the stuff that I've been doing in my
You've been doing the math.
No, like I think if you look at it like economic changes and stuff like that, what's expected and all that kind of stuff, there is like a general idea of what everybody has deemed as the esports winter. Like that's what it's been coined as, is you know, people are harboring down, they're, you know, doing their hibernating and waiting for it to kind of fall off, and then they'll come back when, you know, pocketbooks open up again. But yeah, I think, you know, a lot of this we saw was going to happen pre-COVID. You know, we saw the economic changes and people are going to spend less money on marketing dollars and all that kind of stuff. So we knew it was coming, but then because of COVID, everybody was locked indoors, so they were watching a bunch of content.
Right. So it like delayed. Yeah,
everybody forgot about it. You know, you would think that people would finally realize from that stuff too, like, hey, we don't have to spend as much money on offices. We can do stuff third party, and we can reduce costs a lot that way. But the overall thought process was, how can we reduce costs? How can we trim the fat?
Right.
And that restructuring is not unfazing to everyone. You know, you even see Epic with the recent layoff. First time they've done in like 30 years. So
right. And they tried to push through it too. Like that was Tim Sweeney's thing. He's like, we can handle this. They couldn't handle it. I think some of those lawsuits might have had something to do with it, but
hey man, just lose 30% of your revenue. It's fine to Apple, you know? Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy to see that it was something that we all knew was going to happen, and it got pushed back quite a bit because of the ad revenue that was coming from YouTube and all that stuff. But yeah, this is stuff that we've known was going to happen. I think the difficulty though is it's happening all at once. I thought we were going to see it slowly trickle through, but it's been just it's been pretty crazy, and you're seeing a lot of talented people I really care about as well, that are just being laid off, no jobs in an oversaturated market. And then on top of that, nobody's hiring because they can't, you know. So it's pretty tough. There's a lot of people that I've talked to in my consulting work, like, hey, go back to school. Like you're in school right now, dedicate to it, and maybe 2 to 3 years you'll be okay on the other side, but at least you'll have a degree to fall back on, kind of mentality. But yeah, I mean, you're expecting 2024, we're going to have an economic downfall. We're going to have some issues with the recession, and tax rates are going to hike, and we're already seeing that in the housing market and everything else.
Oh yeah, it's already it's here. It's just people are questioning, how long is this going to be here for? And I'm not an economist or an analyst or anything. I am just not for finances, so I can't tell you that. But it does seem like the people are thinking through 2024 into 2025 a little bit. So.
Yeah, everybody that I've talked to, financial advisors, all that kind of stuff, the people that I work with, they've you know, projected this is something that was going to happen. You know, when the government went to 0% financing on houses and stuff, bad idea. Never should have been. They were giving away money and no return on it. Like, it was never going to be successful. So we'll never see that again. You know, we hope to see stuff eventually in the next 2 to 3 years drop to like 2.5%, which is a dream if we can. But realistically, it's going to take some time to get there. But the nice thing about it, when it does get there, is everything should swing back in the other direction. They've gone through this before. They are going to bounce back. It's just a matter of time. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have time. And I think that's the scary thing, is people are definitely, especially when people aren't being paid or compensated, organizations are failing to do net 30, let alone net 90, let alone, you know, you see, you know, community casters that aren't being paid and are having to borrow stuff from his community and stuff. Shout out to Andrew Taco. But yeah, like there's some pretty crazy stuff that's going on that, you know, 2024 is going to be the pumping of the brakes and a lot of people going through this refinement period. And then 2025, 2026, you're going to see the people who make it out to the other side just flourish. It is going to be, because they're going to actually have like good structure and good foundation to actually build upon to turn revenue. And then all the marketing dollars, everything else should come back in.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
mean,
I
well,
think 2025 is kind of the year everybody's hoping for.
if you have it, the recessions are usually the best time to invest because then you pop off on the other side. The problem is, are a lot of people that are being surprised by layoffs or not knowing what they're doing, especially in an esports industry where a majority of people that work in it are contracted employees. I mean, myself too, right? Like, it's just like, I mean, you've had to deal with this for so long. It's just, it's constantly to the next. Am I going to get it? When a recession hits, you're like, oh, is this going to be the one where I actually don't get that next contract? Because it always is there. Since the day we started doing this kind of stuff, it's been there. The next one's always come. But a recession makes it feel like it can really be that time when it doesn't.
Yeah, I think our situation in particular is a little bit scarier just because esports right now in the general consumer, in the corporate world, is considered taboo. And there is ways to transition out of that. And there's sticking to just like esports or an esports org is actually bad work mechanics in the first place. Like, you should be focusing as a gaming company because gaming is projected to make 300 billion versus 2 billion.
Right. Esports is entertainment.
Like,
and entertainment's always going to be that first on the chopping block,
Yeah. So there is ways to transition, and you're seeing, companies that are really intelligent about it, like 100 Thieves, that are putting out physical product and things that transcend and leveraging. You even see it in the high level with YouTubers. Like, as great as Mr. Beast's YouTube channel is, you know how much money that boy makes off of Feastables?
Oh,
like
no.
To jump into a monopolized market of chocolate and be successful and have the demographic that he does, it's
diversify.
KSI and them with Prime and everything else. Like, the amount of money they're pulling off of product is really intelligent, and then they don't have to spend the money on the marketing dollars because they are the marketer. So I think esports is finally starting to understand that. People don't understand that esports is just a marketing tool until we can earn revenue off of ticketing and sales and other aspects. But yeah, I think there's a lot of these organizations that are rinse and repeat, copy paste, which has been the case with all the companies that I've been consulting for and stuff. They all have the same issues. They all have the same problems. And unfortunately, a lot of them aren't willing to, I guess, listen. They have a lot of people in place that are underqualified, if not qualified at all. You get a lot of friend DAs, as we call them, and friend hires that are just like,
adding on
terrible,
to that, part of the problem is that I think a lot of these people have been in this industry for so long, so they're like, we're vets. They have their friends tell them we're vets, and the reason they've made their money is because VC is like, yeah, let's dump it, eventually hoping for a product. And some of them are not realizing that they eventually have to deliver a product, and they're thinking, no, I've always done it this way. And it's this confirmation bias that we can just keep not having a product and make money, when that's not going to be the reality. So making those changes for them, they're probably surrounded by people that are saying, no, keep doing it. You know what you're doing. You started this. Keep going. You have to adapt. And it does seem like there's a stubborn vet, I don't want to adapt mentality.
I also just think some of them aren't qualified to do it. Like, some of them just don't know. It's the same kind of concept like when I was doing stuff with ESPN. They're resistant to change. Why break what has worked for me for X amount of years? Disney lost money for the first time in 50 plus years. So why continue to invest into this esports thing that we're unfamiliar with, even though we know it is a buzz thing going on? Let's cut it completely and then stick to the sports and stuff we know, even though we can't do sports due to COVID. Like, it was so backwards. But again, you stick to what you know. It's what has been successful for them for a very long time. And I think with a lot of these esports organizations, like you said, it is the same thing when we go back to like grassroots. You get a bunch of people into an area, they play the game, and we hope to get a title partnership that pays for all of it. And that's just how they've always operated. So yeah, I think, when you start building actual verticals and product that drives revenue, and then you can use that as a platform to, sustain. But then you have these organizations that then hire a team, and with that team, you then can prop up your own verticals by slapping your own logos and like doing the whole marketing side of it. So it's crazy. You see like the average going rate for like a Rocket League team is like $300,000 to $400,000 a year for them, one of the major regions.
I hate it.
It's
players.
Like, dude, I'd rather go buy Facebook ads. $400,000 worth of Facebook ads or Instagram ads. I promise you will market better than your esports team. It's insane to me, man.
Players, your salaries are going to drop. Like, I mean, you already see who was it? Was EG that started the trend already? Yeah, they're like, hey,
talk about it. No, we don't talk anything good about EG.
Okay,
EG, that company's. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but
you can fucking swear all you want. Go for it.
EG is a bag of dicks. Fuck that company. Fuck Nicole. Everybody over there, man. They are literally using EG as a way to prop up her resume to give her a better stance in like corporate America. It's horrible. Everything
Yeah.
EG has done is terrible.
Yeah.
And like,
It's
if you haven't read the article, I know you and Richard Lewis get along great.
best friends.
But he has a 2-part article about EG. Go read all of it. It is, fuck that company, dude. They are a former shell of what they used to be.
Yeah.
I hate EG with my entire being, dude. It's what they've done to that company is, I feel so bad for everybody that used to work there.
Yeah. I think Hercules just left them as well.
Thank goodness. Terrible about her situation. Feel horrible that she doesn't get to fulfill the contract side of things because,
Right.
again, they decided to pull out, which they have the power to do. But like, good riddance. I'm glad she's no longer dealing with them.
Okay.
And I say dealing with them as a very nice way of
Yeah.
putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, again, at
it's
the
just
same.
people taking advantage of people, man. I feel so bad for some of these people.
Hey, a broken record can still be right sometimes. So again, I do think the fact that they took that first step of player salaries drop. I think the other esports orgs want that, but they don't want to be the first one to do that. But I think it's inevitable that the player salaries are going to dip, and new entries are going to be a lot lower.
It's interesting because organizations right now are still willing to pay what is right now the market average.
Yeah.
It is still inflated. It is heavily inflated. That has happened, especially in Rocket League ever since the Cloud9 Energy bid war back in the day. That literally doubled salaries across the league. I mean, that was early iterations, but Energy came in and was like, hey, we're going to slap our on the table and be like, don't mess with us, because they didn't want to be leveraged. They didn't want to be outmanned. So they did it to be respected. And it has done very well. Energy is one of the few organizations that are running quite well right now.
Yeah.
They're spending a lot of money. I don't know if that's good for the books. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know if they're like more on the FaZe side or if they're more on the G2 side. Because G2's doing it great. There's a lot of things that G2's implementing that I can't talk about that I'm very happy for the way that they're operating. It's just post Carlos, rid of their New York office. They're doing a lot of really intelligent things and are operating in a way that all their staff across the board, both players and people working for the company, should be extremely happy about. And then there's FaZe that's makes 50 million a year, but they're spending 52. And it's like, your stock is now worth 26 cents, so at least it's going up a little bit. But like, it's
Has it gone up recently?
Yeah, it did go up. I think they won in Halo or something like that recently. So like, it went up a little bit from like the 20 cents it was to 26 cents or something ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know. There's just,
we'll take a look.
I am totally with you in the sense that like the market, it needs to, oh, it went back down. There you go. So you see that big uptick on the left?
Yeah.
go to the 1 month projection.
Where's 1 month? Here we go.
Okay. So it jumped up to 23
cents, yep.
And then right back down to 19. So Halo happened, they won, and then back down. So yeah, so you should have got in on October like 3rd and then made your
but at the same time, you're not. Are you really going to be riding on them winning and then like that? No, that's.
I mean, in Halo, in Call of Duty, sure. Yeah, I would.
I guess it's so interesting because like I also like an esports, like the team winning a tournament, to me doesn't raise value in the company at all. Like I if I have stock, I'm not thinking, oh, my stock's more valuable now as a result of a win in a tournament. I invest in the company because I can see that they have a plan going forward. Like they have a product that I know and I believe in.
That's the thing about esports, man. The only product you have is a marketing tool. So when you're in front of a bigger audience because you're winning, your marketing has grown, therefore you are more valuable.
But what are you selling? Like
that's it. No, that's it. People don't understand that esports isn't a product. It's a marketing tool.
Yeah.
And until we get licensing rights, broadcasting rights, what K Corp is doing is absolutely incredible.
Huge,
the fact that they now have a venue that they can lease out the space. They can, like, the way that K Corp did that event is so intelligent because it's not just, hey, we're competing in this tournament. Like, if they put on a Rocket League tournament, if their Rocket League team doesn't perform well or gets knocked out, their like reach is now diminished.
Right, yeah.
It's done. But by doing it against the world and saying we're competing in League of Legends, we're competing in Valorant, we're competing in Rocket League, they are topical the entire event start to finish, which is so smart. Doing the esports Olympics type idea, I think, is very intelligent for them as a product.
It's home. It's home matches. It's sports home and away matches. They're doing home matches. People came to them.
It's so smart.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so smart. I love what they're doing. Commodore and the rest of the guys over there, got to meet him in Germany as well. Very, very smart about the way they're going, and he's using his likeness and his notoriety. Like, guy boots up a stream, 70,000 viewers. Like, that's something that you can definitely leverage to product, to selling. The fact that they can put up a venue in one location, which again, his entire location is France, so he's fine. But like, to sell 20, 30,000 seats every single time, and to have an entire fan base dedicated to you, imagine they start really pushing merch at those locations, or product, or any, people are gonna buy it. So like, they're fine. Like, it's awesome, and they still own the venue, so like, you now have real estate property. Like, hopefully that appreciates based upon the area. Like, again, like, so smart.
This is why entertainment focused industries like sports, let's look at American football even. I mean, like, you'll buy tickets and merch for Green Bay, right? Because it's just this is a brand that you tie very closely to. This is something that you've grown up with. There's a deep connection to this brand that you have, right? The problem in esports is that these orgs tried to do that in different areas. I mean, now imagine Green Bay also had a baseball team called Green Bay. You know, it's harder to get connected if you don't watch baseball. You're like, oh, okay, but like, I'm not gonna go buy a signed ball from this person, right? But what happens is, in esports, that's what esports was trying to do. Is they're trying to cover everything without starting in the niche. Whereas with people like Moist or Kometo, you have, that is the brand. So now no matter what you do, people are interested. They don't care about Rocket League. They care about K Corp. And if K Corp is doing it, so starting on that level, that, hey, it's the streamer I care about. There's my niche. Boom. You've already, now your audience will follow you. Whereas Cloud9, I love Cloud9, but like, you know, I buy a merch here and there, but I'm not watching all of their games. I like the branding, but I don't care about the other things they're involved in. Now, if you start at the top, I sometimes watch other things from Charlie and Moist, because I like Charlie as a personality. So I think starting at that level is huge, and it has to work, because now every product they put out, Mr. Beast puts out burgers. You love Mr. Beast, you're going to eat that burger. You're going to go get his chocolate, right? Like, you're going to follow the products, and they can make whatever they want. You have to start, in my opinion, at that personal level. You need one person forward-facing in a company. You can't just have that brand.
I think for sure right now, I think there's two ways you can go about it. You can either take the marketing approach, which is what these creators are doing, is they are the branding, they are the marketing. So they're leveraging their name and their likeness. And the fact that Kamoto can do it to an entire region, which is what you were talking about and alluding to, is regional-based teams. You're talking, you know, I worked a lot for the last 3 years as a consultant with Version 1. Minnesota Rockers, their Call of Duty team. Version 1 was headquarters in Minnesota. Like, they tried to garner the attention of a local fan base, even though esports is an international thing. But what Komodo has done is, because he has a French community, and the French community is probably the biggest on Twitch outside of like South American.
I was going to say, he's lucky he's cheating because he's got French. He started off with French, and they love to get together.
Because he's built that, you know, big League of Legends creator, and what he does, he's going the same route as you're seeing these big YouTubers. I'm using my likeness, my branding, and I'm using that to channel my fan base to then push this. They're one and the same. K Corp is Komodo, Komodo is K Corp, and we all know that. You can then go the other route, which you're seeing, where it's like, you look at Nadeshot, right? Nadeshot used his likeness but created product. Before, let's call it what it is, 100 Thieves was good at any esports. It took them like 3 years until they actually won stuff. Merch. They had some of the best merch, limited releases, their windbreakers, all that kind of stuff. They brought in big personalities to continue to grow and foster that community. And then they started winning. But that team, that fan base is based upon what Nadeshot has put in through product. Juvie is a prime example. Like, you're starting to see, hey, we are building revenue, or these verticals, which is like Juvie's a vertical, their merch sales are a vertical. Like, they can put out a $600 Letterman jacket and sell it out in 2 hours. And that's like a guaranteed like $2 million in revenue in 2 hours because of what they have fostered. And that's still him using his likeness. But you could see more corporate people come in and say, okay, I'm going to own a PC company. I'm going to own some sort of apparel, or, you know, whatever the other business is. And then with the profits we're making in that, we can then slap those on our jersey. We can find ways to market it. We can cross promote in that way. And we're going to use this product. We have a company in Green Bay that is a production company.
Mm-hmm.
And they use their production company then and have a VR arcade LAN center. So the production company is what pays the bill, but as they build out this LAN center, which definitely operates at a negative, they're then starting to get more clients. They're working with local schools. They're starting to build programs and stuff like that. And then eventually but they can at least fund it. In esports, most teams are like, let's take a bunch of money from a capital A or a Series A.
Yeah.
And then we're going to spend that on a team. And then that's it. And then they stop. And then they release all their employees. Everybody's screwed over. And it's just like, it's not sustainable.
They focused too hard on building the brand rather than having a brand to start with. And I think that's like, I really think the way to go is get in behind. Like if you're a VC, get in behind a large streamer. I mean, like go get someone with already a big following and say, hey, I'm going to ghost in behind you. We don't need to make a new brand. We do this off of you. I think that's it. It has to go that way because that.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. You see a lot of these people that are like, why doesn't Microsoft or Amazon or whatever? I'm like, why would Microsoft or Amazon need to have an esports team?
Yeah.
What do they need to market? Like, it's Amazon. It's Microsoft. Like, you see how many companies Microsoft has bought lately? I don't think they need to get into esports with a team. Like, bigger fish to fry.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
But I mean, even if they wanted to, I still think that'd be the way to go. I don't think because like you've seen it where like Xbox has their own channel where they would run some esports stuff here and there. I don't think that's the way to go. I mean, you take the Xbox brand, you sponsor Charlie, and say, hey, just put my stuff on your stream, right? Like
they would kill it if Xbox goes, hey Charlie, or hey, right? Like Admiral Baru is one of my favorite creators.
Okay.
I think he's got the best emotes on Twitch. He does a bunch of variety.
I don't know, that Lawler guy's pretty good.
Whatever. Yeah, I wish I had the viewership Baru had.
Right, don't we all?
And the emotes. He's incredible. But yeah, like you take a streamer like that and say, hey, you're sponsored by Xbox. Mm-hmm. Anytime we got a new title, Game Pass, whatever, play it on your stream. That in itself will pay for the marketing. He pulls up indie games that have like 200 viewers tops, maybe like 10 followers on Twitch as the game channel, and he will instantly give it 15,000 views.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think that's the way to go. Don't try to do your own thing with your own brand anymore because people connect to people a lot easier. And even though that is still a brand, it's a face and a person behind it. I mean, it's the same reason that Elon Musk was so successful with all his companies. Imagine if Tesla was faceless or SpaceX was faceless when it started. They were, right? He went in, took these companies that were already doing something, put his face on it, and just marketed that.
I mean, if you want an actual good example, you can talk about Ryan Reynolds. What he did with the
aviation and all those.
The football club, the aviation, the production team that he has, they do a guerrilla marketing, and then overnight uses his likeness and his leverage to turn these from like $100,000, $300,000, $400,000 investments to multi-million, billion-dollar companies. And it's like there's people that are doing like market research and following everything he's doing because they're like, it's not a fluke. You've done this with 7 different companies.
Right.
Shoot, he just put 20 some odd percent. Him and his co-investor, I forget his name, like 24% into Alpine Racing. Like, it's like a $600 million investment.
This is why, like, even off the bat, I mean, obviously I'm nowhere near the scale of these guys, but it's like I even with the podcast, I was like, I'm not going to create a name like The Connection because it feels like creating a brand like that is extra work to something that already exists. I mean, I'm here. I can be the brand and I'm a face people can connect to. And if they like my style of podcasting, they're just going to go towards, they're not going to go because the brand's there. They're going to go because I'm the one doing it. And I think that people are realizing that, especially in with social media nowadays, how individual focused it is that larger brands are becoming less. I mean, even look at Wendy's. I mean, they could have, like, Wendy's is a faceless entity, but then they get that person on Twitter acting as if they are a person, and all of a sudden people love it, right? People want that individual centered branding, and it's going to keep going that way. And as I think some of these orgs start to smarten up to oh, that's what we have to do. Some of the established ones might sit around, as you mentioned, like NRG, G2, Fnatic, all these ones that have been around for ages and do have that, over decade long following. But going forward, I think if orgs want to be taken seriously, I really think you have to look at, let's get an individual to represent us.
I think it makes a difference. I think it also depends on the right individual. It's also putting a lot of stock in one person.
It is. It's hard. I mean, look at Marvel brands, and Jonathan, right? Like, it's, that's hard if something goes wrong.
Yeah, I think it goes both ways, right? Like, putting all your eggs in one basket, I don't think is ever a good idea. And a lot of these organizations, as they find ways to sustain and cover themselves, then it's a matter of like when I do any consulting, we always ask the why. What is the reason for this? What are we trying to get out of it? And trying to tackle that from as many different approaches as possible. And there is no exact right answer. I think, everything is very situational. There's too many variables, I think, involved when it comes to, okay, if I'm an esports org and we're trying to grow and expand, what are we trying to accomplish? Why are we trying to do this? Are we just trying to get a better return on our investment or an ROI? Okay, how are we doing that? Is it by growing our fan base? Is it by putting out a better product? Is it by, and that is always going to change based upon what you're working with.
But you still need to have a product. And if a lot of people don't have products, that's a problem.
So yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting ways. And as much as I criticize, because it is copy paste at a lot of these organizations, I mean, again, if you handle these player contracts intelligently, it's like, okay, if they're forced to make content, now you're using their likeness just like you would a creator. And, if I sign a Beast Mode Daniel type thing, like Beast Mode, if he just would post one's videos and clickbait the heck out of them, or say, this car's insane and whatever, the typical YouTube meta, like, yeah, good viewership. And if you force him to do that as part of his contract, not only does he grow and he makes more money, but then you also get his likeness and branding to grow with you. And there's ways to do it. I mean, shoot, look at Zen, dude. Zen doesn't talk in any of his YouTube videos because he's not doing any of his YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Vitality is taking his clips, making a compilation, but because it is Zen doing the thing you're watching rather than me putting out a highlight video of Zen, I care about Zen. And Zen, his first video is literally a compilation of RLCS like shots, 500,000 views. First video ever. It's like, these things are possible. You can do this with up and coming players. I mean, I forget the name of the kid. I think it's Life. He's 14. He's the best Switch Lite player.
LiefX? That guy?
Just Life. Sorry, just Life. Like, he's 14 and he's playing on a Switch Lite.
Oh, the Switch guy. Yeah.
I think the community ended up getting him a PC. And like, there's a video of him in a pro lobby hitting a nasty like sidewall psycho against apparently Jack
on a Switch.
And it's like, he's 14. Org, I don't care who, put him on a creator contract for like 2 years. Teach him media, help him, develop him, and then when 15 comes, give him a proper tryout on your team. And if he's better, replace. If he's not, no big deal. You spend a year building him as a creator, keep him as a creator. Like,
what's the age
insane, dude.
You start doing that? Because I mean, FaZe got flack when they signed a 13-year-old in Fortnite the one time as a creator. Because
13-year allowed to stream on Twitch.
No, it's true. It is true.
And as long as you do it right, again, there's certain things I think you have to be careful with, labor laws and everything else, and that's going to change based on what country you're dealing with. But if you are a 13-year-old kid and you are clearly very proficient at a game, you're very good at what you're doing, and his goal, if he wants to, is to make content, do the YouTube, because that is a viable career path now. Still very cutthroat, but you can make a living off of entertainment. And it's like, you go to him and say, hey, we want to pay you this much to represent our org. We're going to give you an editor. We're going to prop you up. We're going to do this. You're essentially scouting him, which is no different than traditional sports, except for they do it at like 6 years old. It is an opportunity. It just has to be
navigated right, I guess.
And it's still a risk.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a risk. But I do think, you have something special in those opportunities where you look at the Liefs, the Scribbles, these young kids coming up. I mean, shoot, Zen was literally used to encourage and get the guys to whip into shape. Like, the memes of FIFA 54 are 1000% true. Like, he was playing FIFA more than he was playing Rocket League. All of a sudden, he's got someone gunning for his spot, and they bring him in as a fourth person to say, hey, you're on the chopping block. When time comes and he's 16, one of you is gone. They all start grinding, and all of a sudden they're top 4 at a major.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a coincidence. Like, I don't know why more orgs aren't investing in propping him up, because when the time comes, you put that time and effort into Zen when he's ineligible to play. Now you have a creator with a big following, and that just doubles down on the marketing side of things when he can go pro. It's just, that's a risk. It's always a risk.
Yeah, I think there were some orgs that were kind of ahead of the curve on this whole thing I've been spewing too. I mean, like, I think that's one of the reasons I did like Cloud9 is that they used to get before Rocket League, they would get people that were outspoken, like the louder personalities. That were fun, you know, had a fun play style in game, even, you know, like Stewie and that is like, so it to me, that was my perception. Obviously, Rocket League, they went robot mode with picking up the Muffin Men, but it was like,
They got wins.
Yeah, but it was like I think they were on the right track with that though, of like, hey, you need those personalities, which is why I think like for orgs like NRG, the reason they stick around and people love them still is because they had their Garrett G and their Justins, right? So it keeping those people on board, I think
can't forget
so
Squishy, man. Squishy's got an incredible
that's
YouTube
true.
audience
Yeah,
and following,
true,
right? Like,
I was thinking
Squishy's
originally,
definitely worth his weight in gold.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, like now everything, it's all just Squishy and chat. You spam that fishy, you know. So, what would your product be? Like if you're big, you got a lot of money right now. You're pulling in 60. You're Kometo level. What's your product? What do you make?
I mean, if I'm Kometo, I'm not getting into esports. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
I personally think, again, they say the fastest way to become a millionaire is real estate.
Right.
I think with proper real estate and finding ways to lease it out.
Don't do it in Canada. We're looking at a bubble burst right now.
Oh yeah, you guys are insane. Yeah,
I think it's bad here.
Again, like coming to the Midwest, it's super cheap here.
That's true.
Affordable living. Like my old apartment was 2 bed, 2 bath, 1,400 square feet, and I paid less than $800 a month.
Oh,
American.
that's amazing. Yeah.
It's insane, right? So you come to a small town or a place that has fiber, and you set up a spot that you can lease out, whether it be production company, whether it be music studio. You give a good reason in a place that doesn't normally have entertainment, and you make it a hub, and you lease that space out, and it's still cheaper than anywhere else. I think you.
I mean, that's what James I think is aiming for too. He's got his
in Grand Rapids with Power Glove.
Yeah,
super smart idea. He's renting out a place, I think, from his dad. And definitely using the family connection to help reduce costs and stuff. But it's like if that production company starts getting more and more gigs or whatever you want to call them lined up as a contractor, like okay, now you have all the equipment, which is a pretty penny, and now you can lease that equipment to people, and it's like it starts paying for itself. It's things like that. You build a foundation, and as you start to expand upon that, that's stuff that I have to keep to my brain because I'm not trying to get myself out of a job as a consultant. But yeah, it's I do think I would definitely go real estate, but in a more forward facing creative idea rather than just like I buy this house, I rent these rooms now, and I pay for the mortgage that way. I think there's more creative ways to do it. But yeah, I think it's just a lot of people having that initial investment or that initial capital to actually build and create. Plus there's always the risk, right?
And it's also good, like, I mean, worst case, you got assets now that you can liquidate. Like you can get these out, right? So it's having that, and that's why they say is like, even in this industry, like, we bought a house and I'm in a spot now where it's like, we're in this long off season, don't know what's going on. Am I getting a contract next season? Like, we're in this spot where like the industry, like the housing industry we might finally see our burst. We didn't drop in 2008. Our housing didn't get fixed from that yet. Our government keeps subsidizing it because no one wants to be in the hot seat when it crashes. So it's gone. And
your guys' prices are insane.
It's wild compared to our median income as well. It's just crazy. But so if it happens now, it's like, is this asset that I have? It's not going to depreciate, but is it really going to appreciate much? But at least I still have. I'm sure there's still going to be some appreciation on it because the area I'm in as well should still be fine. But at least worst case scenario, I can't afford it anymore. I still have an asset I can liquidate, and at least I should be fine afterwards. I'm back to square one or square zero, probably. But it's like at least I have something now, and having that asset is huge.
Yeah,
so you're right about
you
real
and I
estate.
are both in I'm very happy that after doing this for just shy of a decade, I'm in a position where I can actually pay for a house. Obviously when you have dual income and stuff like that, or
for most people now,
a significant other or spouse to help with that, but the days of working a 9-to-5 job as a millennial or Gen Z or whatever it is, and being able to afford a house is just, it's not a thing. It really isn't. It's very scary. So to be at the I'm gonna say young age, even though everybody in Rocket League is like, you're a grandpa.
We're dead.
To
We're
be
in the grave
you
now.
know, to be at the young age of 32 and be able to have a house, I think is, again,
Yeah.
very blessed to be able to do what I do despite the transitions that I've made throughout
Right.
my career. And it's always scary, you and I both talk about, looking over the shoulder, like, when is that next contract going to come? Is that next contract going to come? And I've had that happen,
Mm-hmm.
3, 4 times that I've transitioned in this industry to a different profession, or,
Yep.
you know, continue to take that next step. But it's scary, man. It's, for a lot of people that are in this industry right now, you are seeing on the timeline, still haven't found a job, still can't find anything. And it's like, well, one, you're underqualified. The two, your title was inflated because
Mm-hmm.
you got brought into a position when you should have been an intern making minimum to no wage, technically. I don't think interns should be unpaid, but that's just the way corporate works.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
like,
I don't think
I
we
think an
should either.
intern you should be making, like, what is your actual workload as a part-time person? If you're working at an esports organization as like an entry-level position, you shouldn't be making 50K a year.
Yeah.
You're working 10 hours a week and you're getting paid hundreds of dollars an hour. That is
Yeah.
unrealistic. Like,
Yeah, paid more than
and
some
these
of the
orgs
employees
need to
per
understand
hour.
that. Yeah, these orgs need to understand that. It's like,
Yeah.
look at what their hourly rate is and times that by how many hours they're working in a week. That's what you pay them per month. And it's just like,
What is this magic?
it's like, dude, it's insane. Seeing someone who's basically like a note taker making 60K a month or 60K a year. And it's like, this person sits in meetings and takes notes.
Bro, you
like,
can just do that with voice now. Like literally Google
we
Recorder.
have AI for that. Like, yeah, it's unreal seeing some of the expenditures. Like, being able to come into some of these organizations as a consultant saying, hey, we're going to reduce your overhead by $700,000 and nothing's going to change. And they go, what? And I'm like, yeah. Do you know what AI is? Do you know what, like Chat GPT, and like, do you use any of these tools?
Yep.
No. Okay. Well, let's restructure a little bit here.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's baffling.
They-
and some of them just don't want to, they're stuck in their ways, man. And I can understand it to an extent.
Yeah, you also have to go the other way. I think some people are relying too much on AI that it's AI that is annoying. I mean, here's the thing:
Web3 and Meta and all that kind of stuff, and then NFT nonsense. And,
I use AI in multiple facets of my life, from YouTube projects to being able to help with script. But the thing is, you never know I'm using AI because I'm not using it to make the product. I'm using it as a tool to assist me in creating the product, right? I'll have a script written out, but it's a jumbled mess. And I'm like, ideas are all in the wrong spots. I'll say to the AI, hey, can you structure this to something that sounds, it's a better, more intriguing story, but keep everything the same. And it'll be all my words just moved around. I'll still be like, but that doesn't emphasize what I want. So I'll still move it even after, but it helps me kind of get my ideas together. I can, this the other day, I was making a thumbnail for YouTube and I'm like, I need something in the background that's going to be gauzy and blurred anyways, but there's nothing on Google that I can find that I want. So I got it to make, I'm like, can you make me a stage with red curtains? And it did that, and I could put that in the background. Boom, that helped my process. So there's a lot of ways to use these tools to speed up someone still working there. You don't have to fire the person working there.
More than anything.
What's that?
I use it for travel.
Oh yeah, to
like,
book all your itineraries and
yeah,
everything.
and doing itineraries, cost effective, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, hey, here's everything you need to know. You're gonna know if it's affordable or not. You're gonna know if it's even open.
Can I tell you? I'm sorry. We used it. So we were trying to, at Gamers 8, we were trying to figure out a caster rotation because there were 7 people, and what we needed is to make sure that someone that was casting wasn't going to be on the desk next, because we didn't know how long the mic switchovers would take. So I'm like, wait. I said to them, because Johnny's trying to figure it out, and I'm like, why don't we just use ChatGPT for this? He's like, there's no way that. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Tell it what you need. Just describe what you need. And it put out a fucking graph of who should be on what games, what matches. He's like, what the? And like that.
It's
so
crazy,
your caster rotation was done by AI.
Hey man, it is a very powerful tool when used the right way with the right prompts, but it definitely shouldn't be the only thing you're using, right? Like at the end of the day, it's a tool. It doesn't do anything unless you tell it to. And hopefully it stays that way.
We'll see. But it is good because you don't have to fire someone. Just get them using these tools to make themselves more efficient.
Oh yeah,
right?
100%.
Is what it is. All right, I want to move on to one more thing because we both got to get out of here soon. But before I do, I need to ask you a transition question. What is your favorite Avril Lavigne song?
think the only one I know is Skater Boy.
Okay.
I think.
I mean, that's a fine answer.
I don't know any of the other ones, so that one, I guess.
But
I don't know.
that makes you really realize how much of she was a good artist. But what other songs did she have?
I have no idea.
There's one.
I'm sure if I went to
Avril
ask
Lavigne
the significant other, she would list off a bunch of them. But Avril Lavigne, if I could even say her name, it wasn't in my like go-to playlist. So
Fair enough.
she was on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I know any of her other classics.
We got one angry Avril Lavigne fan in the comments after this.
Sorry, different music taste.
All right, back to you. At the time of this recording, this is weeks before it's going to go live, specifically because I wanted to talk to you about something that you're doing. Well, you're on an airplane right now as this goes live, probably.
Very likely.
To an event, which is really exciting. And you haven't been able to talk about this because you hadn't done it yet. So let's talk about this because when it comes out, you'll be doing it. You got a fun event coming up.
Yeah, this is... I'm still like, I'm being hesitant because even though we're recording this weeks in advance,
if it's problematic, look at this gets deleted out of the video before it goes live.
I have to be careful just because I don't know. You know, I've
it's okay because
So talking with the producer, this in traditional sports, this thing that's very different about esports is esports. Everybody's like contract signing GIF and I got an announcement and teasers and this and that, or I'm doing this event and this and that. And in traditional sports, they don't really do that.
Yeah.
They don't really say, hey, I have this thing coming up. They just go and do it. And then that's how you find out about it, which is why I think it'll be okay to talk about it because I'm going to be at the event. I am obviously going to be posting photos because it's going to be insane. But it is quite literally the biggest event I've ever done in my entire career. It is something that I never thought as a small town kid from Wisconsin that I would work in entertainment, let alone do something of this, like this caliber. But to say that I am the co-host on stage of the Formula One Heineken Silver Las Vegas Grand Prix is, how do you like,
those are fun words.
What the fuck, dude? Like it is something that I don't think has officially hit me and won't. Like we're only a month out now. I officially fly out on the 13th, so it's like to know that it is happening. Payment has been like contracts are signed, like NDAs, like all the
this is not a
specific
tentative.
things.
You are doing this.
Yeah, like I've had 3. Like it's very different than esports. Esports is like, hey, we want to hire you this for the event. Contracts here, flights are scheduled. Just kidding, we canceled it. You can't really cancel a Formula One Grand Prix.
Yeah, well, you can, but you're probably not going to.
No. So like to do it in Vegas, which is the first time like in 40 years, it's a night race on a Saturday, which is the first time in like 37 years. Like there's a lot of firsts, and like some of the acts that I'm working with and some of the people, like, dude, I'm gonna be on stage with like fucking Chris Angel or some shit.
That's
and
crazy, dude.
Like there's certain, like I throw to like Lady Gaga in like Blue Man Group, and like it's just things that I don't know how or why or what. I'm more nervous about what I'm wearing than actually doing the event. It is a very privileged situation to not just like go and see it, but like to be a part of the show, to be part of that experience for people for the first I'm very, very blessed to be doing what I'm doing. And I'm going in with the same mentality, ironically enough, as our first RLCS show.
Yeah.
It could be a one-time thing.
Right.
I'm going to enjoy it for what it is.
Fun.
And hopefully it leads to more, but if it doesn't, like I'm very happy to at least be able to do the thing. And it's going to be insane, man.
If you sit the whole time stressing about, oh, I have to do this right to get another one, it's not going to go good for you. You just go there, have some fun.
Oh,
and
no,
that's
I know.
Show.
First walk out onto that stage, I'm going to be nervous as fuck. And then after that, I'll be good. But like, that's just because it is, again, we've done some pretty large shows for esports. You know, I think biggest audience I've worked in front of is like 20,000.
Right.
This is like 500, 600,000.
Nah, fuck them. They're not.
Scale's a little bit different.
It's going to be easy. It's nothing compared to Rocket League. Nah.
I just think again, like, it's very tough to contextualize until I am there and I see it and am in.
You won't contextualize until after.
Yeah, it's going to be a very special experience. Very, very privileged to do what I'm doing. I'm very excited to do it, and hopefully I don't fuck it up.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
I'm very fucking excited for you, man. That is so cool. And I'm glad I got to talk to you ahead of it happening because Sure, well, everyone's going to be hearing about it as it's happening. Being able to see that, get that thought process of where is the mental space at now leading into this is so unique, right? Because you're going to be able to only be able to look at these moments in retrospect from here on out. But now you're living this lead up moment, which is again, it's exciting, it's nerve wracking, it's confusing, it's everything. There's a lot going through.
Yeah, I think it's crazy. I mean, 6 months of prep is what I've put into this, at least.
It's good that you got that amount of time of prep, because a lot of times in esports, you're like
traditional sports, man. I'm telling you, they plan ahead. It's crazy. It's something esports doesn't do.
Yeah.
But no, I think it stemmed back. I saw a lot of the like EU players and EU talent from RLCS and Rocket League and stuff really express love for Formula One, and I was never really into it until probably like 3-4 years ago. And then Drive to Survive really hit and took off and stuff. So it's like I've always dabbled here and there watching like Speed and Shogun and a bunch of those guys really talk about it. And then I started getting into it. I'm like, okay, this is insane. And you're seeing the transitions of going from like more electric motors and everything like that. And it's like, okay, I'm invested in that stuff. That stuff is cool. And then you start getting to know the drivers and the tracks and learning and more of that. And it's all been kind of ruined because Max is too good. But it is still exciting to be able to go and see that stuff and then to be then planted into that. And it's like you put the time and effort into preparation. I prep like a crazy person, I just don't want to be the person that has like, even though my show and what I'm doing is like we're having a party and entertaining people, like I get to hang out with a DJ and a co-host who works for Formula One for a week and just have fun. Like realistically, I get to have fun. A couple of things like, oh, that qualifying match was crazy. That like that's it. And then we're like over to super famous celebrity. It's a very interesting thing. I don't want to be the thing where it's like, hey, you've got to fill for time or you got to banter and you be in a position where you're like, I'm gonna look stupid.
Yeah.
And like I over prep, so in the moment I can just ease and enjoy. And I'm glad that I've like found a way to do that now, because I know you and I have talked about this a lot when we were both hosting or whatever that situation was to get me out the door was. But yeah, it was I think it's a very good like summarization of like, hey, all the things that I've done have kind of led me to this moment, even though I never thought this moment would be a thing.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Not once have I thought about had a thought process of like Formula One. Yeah, that'll be where I work. Like. Well,
you never think that, especially being in an industry that you haven't driven to. Like, if you got a job doing like football, like on an official football broadcast, like
God, the dream, dude.
That would also though surprise me less, because I'm like, I know you've that's like calling for you, right?
Yeah.
But like to just get into an industry, you don't think you're all of a sudden gonna be forced into it. You just start being like, okay, I'm gonna watch some Formula One. Oh, now I'm invested. But then a few months later, you're working in it is mind blowing.
Yeah, I think it's happy little accident kind of situation, I guess. I don't know, but
I mean, hey,
very, very thankful for the people that pushed me forward for it. But then at the same time, it's like, as much as they push me forward, it is still the demo reel or the talent reel that I submitted that was enough to get them say, yep, let's take a risk on this non-endemic person to do it, who is essentially a glorified fan that happens to be able to talk on camera.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that helps a lot. That's a big part of being on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that's what I always tell people. I mean, saying that your success is completely attributed to skill is ignorant, and saying that it's completely attributed to luck oftentimes downplays the work you did put in. And so I think it's recognizing, I mean, the success generally comes from both. There are some people through nepotism that gets it, like, especially in politics, that get into stuff. But for the most part, if you're good at something, you still need to be found. And if you've been found, you need to prove that you can do the thing, right? The two kind of go hand in hand. So the fact that you got forced into this so quickly means a testament to the background that you had leading into this, and the work you had put in leading up to this moment was there. So
yeah, I think
still be proudful of it.
Yeah, you got to be right place, right time, but you also have to put in the time and effort to be in the right place at the right time and be chosen, which is which is something you and I have talked about, stars aligning for RLCS back in the day, because of the people I chose to network with and grow with. But then also, despite all that, I put in hundreds of thousands of hours into the craft that then gave the opportunity. Right. So yeah, it goes 100% both ways. So yeah, I still, it's going to be tough to wrap my head around it, even in the moment. I'm trying to get better about taking a step back and being self-aware and
breathe.
Like, I know for a fact, like, I have a reminder in my phone immediately after we like do our initial throw, rather than like, heart palpitations and like freaking out, to like, while on that stage, my phone is going to go off with a reminder that says, enjoy it.
Right.
Like it's already scheduled in my calendar.
That's awesome.
Just so when
that's cool.
When the race is happening, to know like, hey, just enjoy what this is, because who knows if it'll ever happen again.
No,
and like,
that's really cool.
Trying to do more stuff like that, and everything I do is been very, very helpful, just to be appreciative, and it keeps you grounded and humbled. And yeah, it's been pretty crazy, man. But yeah, just going through the meetings and talking to the certain people and stuff, you're talking sports commentators have been doing it for like 40 years, like very high profile people. And it's a privilege.
It's cool because when you work hard towards something and you're working an event, it's very easy to get to the end of it and be like, what just happened?
Yep.
I'm
gonna 100%. So it's a night race. Like, I think races start at 12 a.m.
Oh, it's perfect timing
in Vegas. Oh yeah, for me it'll be great. Like,
it's
our call time is like
gamer hours.
Yeah, 4 p.m. call time. Sign me up. Like, it's gonna be 14-hour days and we're gonna be crazy busy. But like, I know we'll wrap probably 2-3 in the morning Sunday.
Yeah.
And like, as soon as that's done, I'm gonna be exhausted, but also just buzzing. Like,
yeah, oh yeah.
And like, every time I've gone to Vegas, like, it'll be like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'll be like, oh, it's 4 or 5 in the morning. Got it. Like, so I'm not too worried about that.
Time to hit the craps table.
Probably. But yeah, Vegas is crazy right now because they're repaving the roads and all that kind of
and
stuff.
the Sphere too just popped off.
Dude, Wavepunk and Daz, I think, just went there for something or whatever.
I think they were just hanging out
in Vegas. Why not? I guess. I mean, Wave, that's like a 3-4 hour drive. Daz is DeBaverin, so he's got money, so he just probably flew there. But who knows? Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy stuff. But yeah, it's like things like that I want to experience, and let alone to be able to work something in relation to that, because like, we definitely have activations going on there. It's a big event, man.
Yeah,
it's a big event.
Go see the Sphere too, by the way.
Oh, dude, it's right by the chicane. It's gonna be, someone's gonna crash because I'm like, oh, what's that? And then like, I don't know, man. It's a spectacle for sure.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It reminds me of the very early IMAXs. I went and I saw some like nature documentary with the screen wrapped around everything, but this is like on a much bigger scale,
different level. I think U2 has residency there as well.
Yeah, they got the beamforming audio too, so it just like, it's clear audio no matter where you end up sitting. Yeah, go check it out.
Wild stuff. I just want to know how much it like costs to run it.
A lot.
Like how much does it cost to run, and can you ever recoup that?
I think so. They did calculations of how much they would have to make to recoup it, because the project itself was, I think, $2 billion. A
lot less than I thought it would be.
Still, $2 billion is still a lot of fucking money.
I mean, yeah, but like, look at when we did winter major when we first came back in 2021 at SoFi.
Yeah.
SoFi was like a 5.5 cost. It was like 2 for just the land alone, and then another 3 to build it. So like, I mean, that's for an NFL stadium. Like,
yeah, I guess.
But they're also running like sold out Taylor Swift concerts back to back to back. They've got 2 NFL teams out there, and they're selling out every game. So you're talking 16 games a year at like average ticket price is probably like $200.
But keep in mind though, Vegas, people travel there year round from all around the world, and that's a lot of people coming in. They're going to be setting up to see the Sphere. Like that's on anyone's trip to Vegas, is like their itinerary now, hands down, is going to this Sphere.
Fair.
So I think they'll be fine. I think it's a good spot.
I still want to know. Like, all right, man, electricity bill on this bad boy, what is it? Like, what are we talking? Like,
probably fucking massive, dude.
Because it's the highest resolution screen in the world now, I think.
Yeah.
Or something ridiculous. Like, I want to know.
I think, well, maybe we'll find. Go ask them. You know how to. You'll find a friend there.
That's the real reason I'm going.
Yeah, you'll find a friend there, and all of a sudden you'll have a job. I know it.
Oh, God, I'm honestly fingers crossed, right? Like today's industry, why not?
Yeah, just throw it
Hard
out there.
pivot.
Why
Hard
not?
pivot.
Anyways, I mostly, again, I wanted to have you on, talk about the state of the world, and then get to talk to you about that thing. So yeah, really excited, man. Since you're on a plane, I hope you're having a wonderful week this week. In the future Lawler, I'm speaking, which will be present Lawler at the time that you're hearing this.
Technology, man.
Yeah, look at this. This is scheduled videos.
Yeah, man. I think it's crazy. Industry's pretty doom and gloom right now, but I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think a lot of people are just being restrictive. I think people are being very
just hold on a little bit.
Yeah, I think again, people have the reins on because it's just they have to be careful. They have to operate intelligently, and it's unfortunate. A lot of people are getting the backlash because of it. There's a lot of people that are being let go. A lot of people I care about. You're seeing massive layoffs, this and that. It's tough to remain positive, I think, right now, for a lot of people that are just, when's my next paycheck? If I'm gonna get paid, is it gonna be on time? Will I have a job? Like a lot of real questions that you're seeing, that not everybody can hold on for those 2 years that it's going to take to get back to the other side. So yeah, just a massive feeler out there. There's a lot of people you're not alone in it. There's a lot of people going, reach out to your peers, reach out to everybody else, talk, try to create in this negativity something that could be extremely positive. You never know, to be able to fulfill something that is needed right now,
right?
What it could come to it. So yeah, it's crazy times, man.
I'm hoping we see an explosion of great content out there as people build their own platforms through this next year. And I hope everyone can stay on their feet and land on their feet throughout the end of it. Yeah, we're all good. I'm going through it. You're going through it. We all, you got this gig, as you said, but what's after? It's
a great question, Leaf. I'll let you know when I figure it out.
All right, but yeah, it's we're all in this. So yeah, hold on, do your best to continue to build that brand so you come out stronger on the other side of it. And that's marks a signal at the end of the podcast, right? We'll get out before that gets any further. Anyways, my dude, thank you for coming on again. I appreciate it, and I'm super, super proud of you being able to do this moment, and I hope you have a friggin' blast this week. Well, for you, in a few weeks.
Hey, man, I appreciate the love. Looking to share it with as many people as I can. And for you, keep putting out good podcasty content. It gives me something to watch and listen to on a regular basis.
Hell yeah.
They've been great. If you guys don't subscribe and stuff already, shame on you. Boost it. Make sure you guys share it everywhere. It makes a massive difference for Leaf. And he's doing this because he enjoys it. But if you guys could actually make him earn a living off it, I'd be very happy about that.
Hey, I made $2 on it last week.
I saw the $2.42 Canadian or something like that. And I was just like, dude, weird flex. Okay. But
we're paying mortgage, baby.
Yeah. I wish my mortgage was $2.42 Canadian.
That'd be incredible.
Go under my cushions and be like, all right, here's the mortgage.
That is not the truth in the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I don't have to do the spiel. He just did it. Thank you guys for watching. And follow him on Twitter, of course, to keep up. I'm sure you're posting videos and pictures of your event. So see it from the first person. I'll be paying attention. Anyways, thanks for coming on, and thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.